Welcome to historic Battery Point here in Hobart. And Battery Point is it's a wonderful neighborhood, very, very historic neighborhood. And I was walking down this same very street the other day, and I saw a special place that might be worth sharing with those of you out there that have such interest in the history of Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. And that is the Narryna, the merchant's house right here, the Heritage Museum. And I was walking by this the other day and I saw that it's actually open, and I thought, why not just come through and take a tour. And this is the home of an individual that I don't know if he was famous or not as far as Tasmanians go, but I thought it would be nice to go inside and take you for a tour. And they're open Tuesday to Saturday from 10 until 3, and they tell you a little bit about the history. Narryna is a gem of Australian colonial architecture containing a rich collection of Tasmanian fine and decorative arts. The fine Greek Revival townhouse was built by Captain Andrew Haig, 1837 to 1840. Haig purchased the land holding in 1824 in the course of a lucrative trading voyage between Calcutta, Canton, Hobart, and Valparaiso, which is in Chile. He built warehouses facing the Salamanca place in 1834 and set up as a merchant and shipbuilder while also operating goods and passenger services to mainland ports. He was forced to sell up after an economic downturn hit the Australian colonies in 1842. And you are looking at what was later the residence of an array of Hobart businessmen and women, lawyers, politicians, and bankers. In '55, it became Australia's first folk museum through the efforts of local residents who formed a collection that reflects the mercantile and maritime histories of Salamanca Place and Battery Point. We invite you to step into Narryna for an experience of early colonial life. So that's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to step inside and get an experience of early colonial life here in Australia back in the 1800s. And before stepping inside, I'll share a little bit of the outside of the building with you. It's a square stone building, and I don't know if it has a garden or not, but we will see as the saying goes. It's got 2 stories, and then if I turn around, you can see the fountain again. There's the fountain here, and then the back, it looks like it has quite an extensive back to it. I see a couple chimneys coming out of the back, which might be bedrooms, or could actually be maybe a kitchen. So I don't know if I'm able to walk back here or not, but why not see if I can't give you a nice view of the rear of the building. Quite a large, definitely a large building. Here's the crushing wheel, if you're able to see that. Look at that. Look at that big crushing wheel right there. And then, wow, look at the garden out back. Now, is this an anchor or what? Anchor of the Catherine Scherer, wrecked off Port as far as 1858 and salvaged in 1978. Look at that. Is that an anchor or what? Oh, wow. That really is something. 1858, it came off of a wreck. And then look at these little cannons. This is the signal gun right there. Look at that. There's your signal gun. Fantastic. And look at the garden. Boy, what a beautiful property. Looks like they have various events here. got a nice covered area here where they might have set up some dinner tables. And here is the view from the rear of the property, right there. Wonderful. Boy, that is a big home. That really is a big home. And look at the garden. Fantastic. All right, let's go see if we can't step inside and take a look at the inside of the home. Oh, this would be the garden that I would just dream of having. Just beautiful. Look at that. Okay, let's step inside and see if we can't get a nice tour of the inside of the building. Well, as you can see, I've made it to the front, and I'm going to try my best to pronounce this name. And fortunately, I found a wonderful, wonderful lady here named Karen, and she is going to walk through this beautiful property with me. And good morning, Karen. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Now I'm going to try to do my best and pronounce that name. Is it the Narryna?
No.
Narryna?
No.
Narryna. Narryna.
No.
No. Okay, I give up. How do you pronounce that?
Narryna.
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 Narryna. And you are a Hobartian?
I am a Hobartian.
That's what they call you. They call you
They do.
Hobartians. Well,
Hobartians.
who better to walk through this? This is a folk museum.
It is a folk museum.
And who better to take me through a folk museum in Hobart than a real Hobartian, right? I mean, that really sounds good. Let's step inside. So how old is this building here?
So it was finished in 1840.
Okay. And it was built by a merchant?
It was. It was built by Captain Andrew Haig. He first came to Hobart in 1824, and that's when he bought this block of land. It was 2 acres when he purchased it, and it was £150. And it originally went from the street out the front here right down to the waterfront at Salamanca.
Now, who would have built this home? I mean, would he have like gone online and said Hobart building constructor or contractor, or who would have built this home for him?
We do know he did get a builder in to build it for him. So I doubt that he went online back in he started it in 1837. I don't think he went online, but certainly he would have had a lot of contacts in town to be able to find the builder.
Well, let's start. So this is a 2-story home, right? And you walk in, and as you walk in, you just can't help but to be impressed with how special a place it is. So off to the right, it looks like they're getting ready to serve dinner, right? And would this be the dining area?
This is.
Look at this, folks. Wow. Christmas dinner for a large party. Mock turtle soup, portage de riz à la piedmont. I can't read that. I'll share the menu with you. Look at that. Maybe you can see that menu there. Boy, this is the dinner that you would not want to be called late for. Look at that. Second course, Christmas pudding, guinea fowl, punch jelly, York souffle, Charlotte russe, meringue. Oh goodness, it looks good. But look at this table setting. Now, what was the gentleman's name that built this home?
Captain Andrew Haig.
And what do you know about his family? Did he have children?
He did have children. When he came here to settle, he brought with him his wife Elizabeth and 3 of their young daughters, and his half sister also came along. The Haigs ended up having 8 children.
8 children.
8 children, 7 girls and 1 boy.
Wow. 7 girls and 1 boy. And they came from, where did they come from? From England?
They were from England, yes.
Look at this globe. I wonder what the date of this globe is. Do you happen to know?
It's a very early globe. It's from probably the early 1800s.
Early 1800s. Now, I'm kind of curious to see if I could see Australia on this globe.
I can't move it for you at the moment.
That's okay. That's all right.
It is very fragile.
I can imagine. So let's take a look, and I'll just, as we walk through, I'm going to show them some of the artwork as I'm able to. Would this be a queen here?
That's Queen Victoria. A very young Queen Victoria.
Look at that.
She was queen at the time that the Haigs were, in the house, so that would have been, a very important thing to have on your wall.
Wonderful. Very, very nice. And they used fireplaces for heating these homes, right?
Definitely. There's a fireplace in every room, so there's 12 fireplaces in this hut.
Okay. And electricity came in here, what, in the early 1900s?
That's correct.
Now there must be a picture of the gentleman. Is this
There
a
is,
portrait?
just inside the door, just inside the front door there.
Oh, okay.
The only image we have of Captain Haig is this one here.
This is the only image.
And we don't have any images of his wife, unfortunately.
Wow, look at that. There you have. There's the gentleman right there, folks. All right, now this is a non-profit, as I understand it, correct? This museum, it's run by volunteers?
It's mainly run by volunteers, but it is part of the state government, so it is part of state growth, and we are looked after by TMAM, the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery.
Wow. What room is this?
So this is the drawing room. So
drawing room.
We were just in the dining room after dinner. The gentleman would stay in the dining room and perhaps smoke some cigars and drink some port, and the women would withdraw to the. That's where the word drawing room comes from.
Oh, that's where it comes from. They would withdraw.
Yes.
Okay, so the women would say, "Honey, okay," or the men would probably say, "Okay, dear, why don't you?" And the ladies withdraw.
That's right.
You know, ladies, why don't you withdraw and let us have our. Let us have our cigars. Look at this. Here are the musics. The Parting Flower, the New Post Horn Polka. That looks like a good one. All right, and then they have some instruments. Look at this. Look at this violin here.
That's a beautiful handmade violin by a Tasmanian man by the surname of Wiggins, and he made quite a few different violins.
Wow, that looks really nice. Now I'm kind of curious. I was down in the Huon Valley, and they were jumping up and down about Huon pine, and Huon pine being, you know, really wonderful for building ships or fixing ships. Is there wood from Tasmania that is?
Yeah, we have lots of Huon pine in the house. So there's Huon pine furniture here. And we've also got the Huon pine bedroom upstairs, which is filled with beautiful Huon pine furniture.
And look at this beautiful piece. Would this have been... Wow. That looks really, really beautiful. Look at that piece. All right. Really gorgeous. All right, so we're going to go and look at some of the other, we'll go look at some of the other rooms here. Find our way upstairs. Boy, what a special place. We found our way to the next room, and that would be the breakfast room. So we saw the drawing room, we saw the dining room. Now this would be the breakfast room here. Boy, it looks, what a special place. It must have been quite the time. Now I see a lot of birds in this. What's the story with these birds?
It was a very common thing to do in the 1800s to, catch the birds and put them in to something like this so that they could study them and they could, get to know the birds better.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Darwin come through Hobart?
On the Beagle, he did.
He came through on the Beagle.
And he climbed Mount Wellington.
Now look at this here. Talk about antique. Look at this. I don't know. Hopefully I can capture this, but people would. This is kind of a way that you would look at pictures, huh?
That's right.
You would look at photos, and they're kind of like in dual. I don't know if I can even see that, but okay.
Gives you that three-dimensional.
Kind of like a three-dimensional.
Gives you that effect.
Wow. Really special. Really, really special. And who owns this home now?
So it's owned by the state government.
It's owned by the state government, okay.
It has had many lives though.
And look at this writing desk.
It is.
1860 ladies' writing desk, made out of walnut. Oh, that looks fantastic. All right, and then just across the way, I believe, is the bedroom.
There is a guest bedroom.
A guest bedroom.
Upstairs, yeah.
Okay, and what is this? This is kind of a Kindle.
It's for coal.
Oh, for coal.
Yes.
Is that what they would burn? They would burn coal.
They did.
They didn't burn firewood.
They did burn wood, but they also burned coal. Different periods, different.
I wonder if that would have been real smoky.
Would have been very dirty. The ceilings would have got very black, and yeah, there would have been a lot of dust throughout the house. When you were burning coal.
All right, let's go look at the.
We have also just reinstated the bell system in the house for the servants.
The bell system.
This cord down here, you pull.
Am
that
I able
and
to pull it?
It rings the bell in the kitchen.
Really? So that there's a saying that you can ring my bell, right? So do you tell that to your guests coming through? Say, you're more than welcome to ring my bell.
I don't.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Hard. Not that.
Oh no.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
It has got it. But did you hear the bell in the kitchen?
I did. All right. So let's go look at the next room. Would be the next room is the bedroom, right?
There
or
is
the
a
guest
guest
room.
bedroom
It's a
across
guest.
the
It's a
hallway.
guest bedroom. Okay. So we'll come over here and take a look. And here is this would be the guest bedroom. Now this caught my eye here. This hat. That's like an admiral's hat.
That's right.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it didn't belong to Captain Hay, but
It did not. Okay. And did they let you borrow it for Halloween every year when you dress up? As no, you can't borrow the captain, the admiral's hat, huh? That wouldn't go over. Do you have Halloween here in Hobart? Do they have something similar?
A lot of people do Halloween now. You get a lot of children trick and treating, not that sort of thing.
You know, as an American, we grow up learning all about our colonial past. And a lot of Americans are just quite oblivious to the rich history that Australia has in colonizing this wonderful land here, as I shared that fireplace with you. All right, so we're going to go and find our way. What's the next room? Kitchen?
We could go to the kitchen or we can go upstairs.
Okay, let's look at the kitchen real quick. All right, soup's on. That's probably what you heard if you were here back in the day. This is the kitchen. Here's the kitchen table, and boy, if they were making cookies with this bowl, can you imagine being the lucky one that got to lick the bowl? Oh wow, look at that. So, wow. Anything you want to share about this room?
Well, I guess there's lots of things in this room that are really interesting. What we were just talking about there is actually what they use to separate milk from cream.
Milk from cream, okay.
And there's the butter pats are in there to, once you've made the butter, to pat it together to get it to the shape that you want it.
And this would be the oven?
It is. Originally it would have been an open fire. But later on it was replaced with this oven. The lovely brass thing that you see just hanging from the top of the oven, that brass piece, that's actually, it's called a bottle jack, but it's actually like a really early rotisserie. So
really?
You hang some meat off the bottom where the hook is, you sit it in front of the fire. Just beside you on the right there's a red thing called a roaster. So you sit the roaster around it to keep the heat in.
I see.
And the meat, you wind it up. It's got a key like a clock, so you wind up that bottle jack and the meat just turns around and round and roasts in front of the fire.
You know, you are just a wealth of knowledge. You know that? You really are. And you know what caught my attention here was here are the bells. Look at this. So you know when you ring her bell, this is it. This is where you'd be ringing the bell, right there in the kitchen. And all the bells go to the kitchen. I'm hungry. You know, bring me something to eat. So
Do you know that the Haigs had female convict servants who came from the female factory, which I believe you've been to the female factory?
I have. I've been to the female factory. So you would have female female servants
That's right.
that would come here. They were probably in the best class, right? Class A or whatever it was.
Yeah, the ones who are allowed to go out and serve as domestic servants. So the Haigs did have quite a few women who worked here over different periods as domestic servants.
Wow. All right.
They didn't always last very long, though.
No. All right. What room is next?
We can go upstairs and see the main bedroom.
Let's do that. To give you the full effect, as I often like to do, I'm just going to walk up the steps with you. And just off here, this is set up as Captain Haig's study, and I believe it goes into the servants' quarters. And we'll come back down on our way back down into the first level. But for right now, what we're going to do is just continue walking up upstairs. Now I see it's a two-story home, but I see a couple flights of steps. Here's another flight going up, and just you come up onto this landing. Look at this quilt. Wow, quite the quilt. Now this is a bedroom here, and this room here would be. Ooh, look at this. Now I know enough to know that's not a bedpan, right? That's
that is correct.
That's not a bedpan. That would be something to warm your bed, right?
That's right. These are both bed warmers.
They're both bed warmers, and they would put what, coal in there or something?
So that one would use coal, and this one over here would use hot water.
Hot water, okay. And what would they do? The servant would just kind of run that over the sheets for you?
Yeah, they put it into the bed, but obviously make sure it was taken out before anyone got in there.
Wow.
And you'll see there is the chamber pot in the little set of stairs there.
A chamber pot. Now, what is a chamber pot?
So the chamber pot is for toileting.
For toileting?
Of course, there's no bathrooms in this house when it's built. There's no running water.
Look at that, the chamber pot, right there. Wow. Very nice. I'm really glad that I decided to come by and poke my head inside and take a tour. What a special place. This would be like a nightgown?
No, this is undergarments.
Oh, this would be undergarments. Okay, there's your undergarments. And then over here you have
this is all hue and pine furniture.
Hue and pine, okay. I was going to ask you, the hue and pine is very good for building ships, but for musical instruments, are there woods here in Tasmania that are really good for building musical instruments, like a violin or a...
I don't know the answer to that question, I'm sorry.
You
but
don't,
I mean, obviously there is the violin downstairs, which is of very high quality, so I'm not very familiar with the timbers.
Very nice. And is this like an original, is this original here?
They're not original to the house, but the majority of the items in the house are original to the period that the house was built. So it gives you a good sense of...
And then look at this clock here. Wow. Very nice. Wonderful. Okay, now this would have been whose room? This would have been the...
We have this room set out as the main bedroom, but the original main bedroom of the house was in the room to your left now. We now use this as exhibition spaces.
I see. So this would have been the original bedroom here.
This room in here is the main bedroom. That one in there was the second nursery. So another nursery and main bedroom here. We are about to have a costume exhibition. We have a wonderful collection of beautiful costumes, so we're just about to put them out.
Would they have had pets back then? Dogs, cats?
They may have. I don't think it was quite as common as now. So these pieces were part of the exhibition that we had.
Okay.
Our last exhibition.
Wonderful. And then we just come over here. And over here we have, this would be...
The nursery.
The nursery. And with they had 8 children?
They did have 8 children.
Wow. I have 9 brothers and sisters, and my mother, bless her heart, she had 5 children at one time under the age of 5.
Wow.
She had a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a little baby, all under the age of 5. Look at this. Now look at this. What are these here? These are like little...
It's a puzzle.
It's a puzzle.
Yeah.
Wow. Onions, fine onions, 2 and 2. Well, actually, you can see that on the bottom. 2 and 2 are 4. Spring radishes, 2 and 3 are 5. Isn't that something? Pickled salmon. There's your pickled salmon. And 6 and 2 are 8.
A
Wonderful.
lot of the toys were quite educational. I mean, obviously children didn't have anywhere near as
Sure.
many toys as they have now.
Sure. And what is this here?
That's called a slipper bath. So it's to bath the babies in. The
Really?
theory is that the water stays a bit warmer because of the coverage at the front.
Uh-huh. So you bath the babies. Those were the days, weren't they, Karen? Huh?
They were.
I mean, those were the days, right? Wow. All right. There's a little doll right there. Wonderful. Boy, this is a great tour. It really is a nice tour. Look at the children there. All right, so let's go find our way down to the servant quarters.
Yeah.
Sound good? All right. All right, and now we're stepping into the servant quarters here. And these would be your servant quarters. And having been to the female factory here, this is probably a little bit more desirable than that. Now, this here is another bath?
That's right, it's called a hip bath. So, a hip.
Hip?
H-I-P, yes.
Hip bath. And why would they
Because-
call it a hip bath?
Well, you can only really sort of sit in it with your hips
Oh, I see.
underneath the water.
Uh-huh. Very nice. And look at these very simple beds. Now the servants would be female.
Yes.
They'd be female. You wouldn't have like a male.
Well, you would have a groomsman who would be looking after the horses, and he would sleep over the stables building out the back.
Okay. Did the early settlers here, I think you would call them settlers, did they have slaves?
Convicts basically were slaves.
Convicts basically were slaves.
They did all the work that, you know, a slave would do essentially.
They were, did I don't know much about the history of Australia, unfortunately, but you know that period of time isn't necessarily the brightest.
No.
In your history.
No, that's right.
And a lot of the convicts that were some of the convicts just kind of brought here for that purpose, more or less.
They were sent for crimes committed back in England, and some of the crimes compared to nowadays we would think were, you know, fairly petty sort of crimes that people wouldn't be in trouble for. But you know, times were fairly hard in England at the time, and there was a lot of poor people, so obviously there was a bit of theft going on. So yeah, people were sent here for all sorts of reasons.
Quite often the punishment wasn't commensurate with the crime at all.
Not at all.
Okay. Fantastic. And then this takes us right down to the back to the kitchen. Right? There you go,
So
folks.
the servants would have had to use these stairs. They wouldn't have been allowed to use the main stairs in the house unless they were maybe cleaning them. Otherwise, they would have to use these stairs.
All right. Wonderful. Well, that is the tour of the inside. I hope you enjoyed it. And is there a website for your?
Yes, we do have a website.
What is your website?
It's narryna.com.au.
Narryna.com.au. All right, sounds wonderful. Okay, have a great day, folks. I hope you enjoyed this tour. And Karen, thank you.
Thank you.
You were wonderful. It made all the difference in the world being able to walk through with you. So have a wonderful day.